Good evening, all. Hope I'm audible to everyone. So today's topic is about JavaScript objects. Okay, so let's start the session. So what is object? So my question, what is object? People might have an idea about Java, right? So, or in general, what is object? Okay, so basically an object is an entity. Okay, so object is an entity which must exist physically, right? So then we can take up, we can compare, to the real-time object to the applications. Okay, right. So instance of a class, good. So yes, in programming languages, object can be called as an instance of a class, right? Right. So basically, object is an entity which must exist physically, and each object will be having its own characteristics, right? So characteristics in the sense, properties or the behavior. Properties, even we can say state. Okay, state of an object can be represented, behavior, and identity. So these are the main three characteristics of an object. So then only we can describe about that existing object. Okay. So yes, even in JavaScript, yes, JavaScript provides predefined objects, and even we can define, JavaScript, objects in JavaScript. So for those, we can call it as an user-defined objects, right? Right. So a JavaScript object is an entity which is having state, behavior, and also, identity. So actually, so that we represent, we represent the state, behavior, and, identity in the form of properties and methods, in a programming part. Okay. So here, here we can have any example. So here I have given example as a car, pen, bike, chair, glass, keyboard, monitor, as an whole part, laptop, mobile, etc. So whatever the things which is surrounded by us, so those all are called it as an, objects. Okay. Even as a human beings, we are also an example for real-time objects. Okay, right. So a JavaScript, JavaScript is an object-based language. Okay, it's an object-based language. Everything is an object, everything is an object in JavaScript. So whatever we take, so that those things are an objects in JavaScript. And of course, JavaScript is a template based, it's a template based, not a class based. Remember. Okay, so we are not going to define, any classes here. So we just use a, template kind of, structure to define this JavaScript objects. Remember, right? So, but here, we don't create a class to get the object, but what we will do, how do we create objects? We create objects directly. Okay, so that is the difference for class based and not class based, JavaScript and any other programming languages. Hope it's clear about objects. So object is just an entity which is having some characteristics. So those characteristics are state, behavior, and identity. Okay. And yes, we represent these characteristics in the form of properties and methods. Right. So how do we create objects, in JavaScript? So we can create objects in JavaScript by three ways. So those are by object literal, and creating instance for object directly, and by using constructor. Okay. So what is literal? Literal is a kind of constant. Okay. So those values doesn't change. Okay. And yes, the another one, that is by creating instance of class, instance of object directly, so with the help of new keyword. So we'll see with the hands-on. And we do have one more way to create these objects in JavaScript, that is by using object constructor. So here also we use new keyword to create a object, right? So now we'll see one simple, hands-on examples for each one. Okay. And let me create, one project. So here again, I'm taking static project. This is for JavaScript objects. Okay. Here I'm going to take we can create a folder, or directly we can have HTML files in a web content. Okay, so this is for literal. Okay, object creation by literal. 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 Okay. So here I'm gonna, change the name of, title, that is JavaScript object. And now, so let's have a script tag. Script and type as text / JavaScript. And yes, so now I'm gonna create one object for okay, let's take student. So where let's take student. So student, and here are the few properties. So one is ID equals to some value, and name equals to, so name is in the form of string, so we must assign in double quotes. So here I'm giving it as an and we can have phone number as well, but yes, I'll take these two properties. Let me end with this. Okay. And now let's go to document. So I'm just trying to print document dot right. Here in this, so we have to call student. Let me take here small letter student dot. So the ID, okay, plus again plus student dot name. Okay. So let me print this. Right. Why is this happening? Student.id and name. Correct. Everything is right. Is my browser issue or what? Oh, it is not, semicolon, it's comma. So here even I can remove this. Assigning values or wrong command. So let's change this. So it's not equals, it's a colon. What else is must? Spelling mistake. Okay, so it's displaying. Okay, so actually the issue is spelling mistake and assigning value. So by default I had given equals then colon. Okay, so this is an example for your creating object by literal. Okay, so now we'll see one more activity for creating object by yes, I mean by using new keyword. Okay, right. So this is object creation directly. So now let's take compulsorily we have to have a script tag and inside the script tag. Okay. So inside script tag, let me write, let me declare one variable by using where keyword, where or let also we can use. Okay. So now I'm taking, bank. So bank equals to new object. Okay, new object. And now, and now we can initialize values. Okay, so let me take, smaller, lowercase. So now bank dot, here I can initialize, dot name equals to, let me take, access, and again bank dot name is done. Let's go for branch. Okay, branch equals to, so again branch is also in string format. So I'm just giving, XYZ, even address also we can use. Okay, so basically it has to end with semicolon, right? Bank dot branch name branch, and let's see, IFSC code equals to, so again I know it is combination of numbers and bits, right? So let's take XYZ, XYZ 0012. Okay, so now let's, so hope these, I've taken these three properties. Okay, now let's initialize value. Okay, for initializing value, so we can directly already we have initialized, but now accessing those values, these properties and printing. So for that we are using document dot right. Okay, and inside this, so what we need to do, we have to call all those members, properties. So here bank dot name plus again bank dot this is branch. Again we have one more property now, so again plus bank dot salary. Okay, now let's print this. So this is let's talk about new. So new is a keyword which is for as allocating or for instantiating object. So actually I have taken bank as an object, or so it's a real-time object, right? So obviously bank is an existing object, right? And now I'm describing about this bank object. Okay, values can be anything, so I just given in general. And right, so now we are instantiating this object, dynamically by, it's like, initializing this particular object, okay, along with the values. Fine, so I'm trying to, initialization is done, and now I'm trying to print with the help of document.write method. So now let's go to run as. Okay, values by by default, I have taken employee for all the activities. Branch. So now it will work fine. Hope you people can see. If you wanted to give anything, slash or anything in between this, bank name and address and with the, IFSC code. So we can mention here, here. Bank name. And branch and IFSC code. Okay, so let's deploy this. Still there is no space, so we can give space here before entering, before giving this line, so we can use. Okay, so this is how we can instantiate by new keyword directly. And now the another part is about constructor. Hope it's clear about object instantiation by directly. One is literal and by using new keyword, and again by using new keyword with constructor. Okay, so I'm moving for that. So now here it is, object by constructor. Let me create, let me pass by constructor. Okay, so this is the title of page. And now let's go with script. Okay, and now here let's take function. So first of all, before moving to actual activity, so let's talk about constructor. What is constructor? Come on. So what is constructor basically? Okay. Constructor is, it's a special member function of a class. Sorry for a template here. Okay. So basically it's for initializing object, constructor used for initializing, it's for initializing object. Okay. So here you can pass default values. So here we can pass, our own values. Any number of records can be passed. Fine. So now let's go ahead with this, and let me take one function. I'm taking as a function keyword first, and function name I'm taking as an employee. And now inside this function, so let's take, so this is actually parameterized constructor I'm taking. Okay, so here ID, EID means employee ID, and employee name, and then employee salary. Okay, so even we can pass, many more employees designation, etc. Okay, so let me take one more. Um, So assigning properties is done. These are the parameters which is passed over the constructor, or within the braces. Fine. So now observe how we initialize the values. So I'm taking, this keyword. Okay. So basically, this keyword is used for referring current object. Okay. So here, which is the current object? Employee. Fine. And now this dot id equals to, it's a, yes, so this dot id equals to eid, and again this dot name equals to yes, e name, and again this dot salary, so this dot salary equals to e salary. Okay, e salary is done. Again, we have designation. So this, dot designation equals to DSI. Okay, fine. So this is how, we initialize through constructor. Okay. So now I'm taking, on object E. Okay, so this is for the employee E equals to new small letters. So employee. So here we are going to, here I'm going to assign the values. Okay. And those values are employee ID. Now, okay, so employee ID, and we have name. Okay, so it's a name. And again, what else we can have? Salary. So here, let me pass. And designation, again, it is string format. Okay. So let me take it as an analyst. Okay. So now I'm going to print these values. Document dot write. So in this document dot write method, so what we have to use this object to call these members. This one. Okay. E dot, here actually I had given D, but it should be ID. Okay, ID plus ID plus, again, this is for E dot name plus, and now again plus. So we have to call all those properties. So properties are ID, name, salary, and designation. So E dot fine salary plus Okay, so again we have e dot designation. Okay, so now we'll print all these values, or we'll deploy this application. So basically it will print all the values which we assigned. Hope you all can see. If you want everything in specific, you can write those, here you can mention it is ID, name, salary, and the designation. So we can mention here. Hope it is clear. Right. So now we'll move to another, we'll take one more activity for this, constructor based. So here what we are trying to do, we are trying to define method in a JavaScript, but before defining the method, so we are going to add property in a function. So with the same name as method. Okay. Right. HTML method. So HTML file here. Object creation. Please observe what we are doing here. Here, let me take that previous one, employee. So let's take script first. Okay. So inside script, let's have one function. Okay. Function and name. I'm taking it as an employee. So here, name, employee. Here I'm going to pass ID, name, salary. Okay. And yes, designation. Okay. So now this dot, so even we can have same name as well. Okay. So suppose actually I didn't find, I didn't give the difference. So when we can use this, this, suppose, if you wanted to refer any object, or same object properties, in such cases, we can use this, this keyword. Okay. So now, right. So this dot ID equals to ID. So let me give here ID 1 and, name 1. Salary 1 and designation 1, so that you people will not find any difficulty. So here I should assign ID 1. Okay, so again, so this dot name 1 equals to, sorry, it's a name equals to name 1. Okay, and right. So again, so this dot salary equals to salary 1. And now this dot designation equals to DESI 1. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll just try to change the, either we can change designation or ID or name, anything. It depends. Okay. So let me, show you to change the salary part. Okay. So now let's take function. So I'm taking function as, this dot, salary, salary change. Okay, salary change equals to, I'm taking same name. Okay, salary change. Actually, we can have, any other different name as well. Okay. And now I'm going to take a function. Okay. And the function name is, this one. Okay. And now let's take another variable where, with the help of this, variable, we can change the value of salary. Okay, salary. And now get into the function. So here you can call this dot salary equals to new salary. Hope it's it's clear. If any confusion, please let me know. Okay, so now setting new salary, it's done. Same way, if you want to say, set or change value for ID or for name or for any designation, you can do that as well. Okay, so now for loop. One is this one, and right. So next, move to the next line. So in the next line, what we have to do? We have to create a object. Okay. So E dot, sorry, we have to instantiate, So E equals to new, what is that, object name, employee. Okay. Employee equals to new employee. Okay. So E equals to new employee and the values. Okay, so now I'm going to pass the values. ID, assume that 1010. Okay, and now name, name. So I'm giving Jack, and salary. Suppose let's take one more values, that is designation, developer. Okay, right. So now it is done. Okay, it is done in the sense assigning value. Okay, assigning value to a function. Assigning value constructors. Okay, so now let's print these values. Document dot write, and inside this write method, what we have to pass, all these employee values. So E dot ID. Right, so let me try the break. Okay, so now let's E dot name. So again, break, and now plus E dot name is done. So here salary. Okay, so salary and designation. This is break tag plus E dot designation. Okay, so let me print and show you this. So hope you guys can see values now. So now let's try to pass value for this function. The function which is there in the line number 16. So let's pass the value. Let me use comment here. Passing value to salary change function. Okay, so now call that function as E. So it's it's an instance, right, or object. So E dot, what is that name? Salary change. Okay, salary change. And here we can pass, value. Which value is it? This is for the salary, right? Now, let me pass. Okay, so after this, here actually, we have to know the difference now. So let's, let me copy paste to this one. After changing values. Okay, so let me give a gain break here. I'm giving break. Okay, now let's go and deploy this. I'm just taking the right method. Right. After, calling method. So the same can be written in the beginning, So here, but this is before calling method. Before calling method. Okay, so now let's run this. Okay, so actually it's printing in the same line. That's fine. Last one. Okay, so actually ID is printing together. So here also we can use the break. Fine. Any queries in this? Questions? Okay, so any queries in the object creation in Java? So this is about, defining a method. Actually, if we needed, if we wants to change the value for multiple properties. So here actually, for just a single member, I changed. And, let me change for one more property. Where is this? Here, new salary and a new designation. Sorry, it's new designation. Okay, so now again you can call that this dot designation equals to new DSI. Okay, so now let's run this. Okay, I actually didn't pass the value, right? So here, where is that function calling? Here, along with the value, we have to pass. What is the value I have given? So here, developer, and now senior developer. Okay, so let's go and deploy this. So you people can observe, the last two, values. Okay, so let me close all if no clear, doubts on this. So next concept is about, arrays. Arrays in JavaScript. Okay, so what is array? Okay, fine. So here, array is, it is a variable. It collects, it holds similar type of values. Okay, so those values we can also call it as an elements. Okay, so array is an object, that represents or that is used for representing or collecting homogeneous data elements or data type values. Okay, so even here, arrays can be created in three ways. One is by literal and by, creating instance directly and by constructor. So the one which we have seen for the normal, Java object creation. Okay, so yes, we'll learn practically how we can create, by literal or by creating instance directly and by constructor. Right. So array is a collection of same data type. Okay, so now let's take our web page. So Eclipse, and let me create one folder. This is for array. Okay, array. Array, I'm just giving it as a demos. And now here, I'm gonna create one page, one HTML file. This is, right. So now let's take script. Okay, so here it is a JavaScript, and let's take one variable. Variable as, where ExcelR, ExcelR student. So assume that this is a variable I'm taking. Okay. What is the question? Anyone explain? Sure. I didn't get exactly. So do you need to, do you need clarity about array or array object? Actually, some noises there. So I just muted for, few seconds. So basically, array is an object, or we can say it's a variable. Okay. So what is the purpose of this variable? Which is just for holding similar type, same type. Suppose same type in the sense, we may need to collect numbers only, or we may need to collect, string values. Okay, in such cases we use, arrays. Okay. Explain me who arrays object. Fine, actually question is not clear for me. Basically, array, let me note, few points here about arrays. Okay, so first point about array, array is, a variable. Okay, array is a variable. So it's not about, object oriented. In general, I'm talking array is a variable, which collects, which holds or which collects similar type of, objects. Okay. So in case, if it is arrays from programming languages like Java, Python, or etc. Okay. So if it is, if arrays is about any object-oriented programming, languages, in that, in such cases, array is an object. Okay, it's a predefined class actually. Array is a class. Okay. Array is a class in any programming, especially object-oriented programming languages. Okay. And yes, though it is a class, even here also used for, holding. Okay, used for holding similar, or we can say homogeneous. Okay, holding or collecting homogeneous data type values. Okay, so this is about, arrays. So example, int, I'm taking it as an ID. So what ID here? It can be student ID or employee ID. It depends on your, requirement. So I'm taking here as a student ID. STID. Let me take, full name, student ID. ID equals to, so within braces. Actually, sorry, it's about, the size. So here you can mention the size. Okay. So how many student data, okay, we have to, collect. So when we talk about, car or any object or, human, so actually it's not a, what to say, a kind of array values, because each object is having different type of values. No. What is this? So actually in data, in data structure, there is a concept of, linear and non-linear. Yes, so we can say arrays logically is an object, right? So it's logically an object, but it is always used for collecting similar type. Okay, suppose let me take an example as an ID of, model number of cars, or any ID numbers of human beings. Okay, so not all the properties. Okay. Yes, array is logically object, but only the difference is it won't allow different type of values. So different type of values in the sense, suppose the student name, address, phone number. So these type of values will not be allowed. But I can collect, this object can hold only similar type, suppose integers or strings or float values, so on. So here, I'm giving it as, student ID, but I have not initialized, I've not initialized the size, but let me take here, any number of values can be taken. So etc. And okay, any number of values, of course, logically array is an object. Even we can, there is an statement, array is, array and strings are first objects in, object-oriented programming, because those are predefined. Okay, let me, I'll for clarification. So I'll mention here as an array is an object. So logically it's our object because it's a predefined one. So you can check, if you're not getting clarity on this, you can check, LAN package. Okay, so we can, in Eclipse or any ID, you can, after, adding the jars, not after adding the jars, after JRE, you can go to JRE, and, JRE, you can search for unpackage. Okay, so let me check which package is that. So this is not, JavaScript related, this one. Where do we have? So you can, where is that references? You all can see now. So this is actually, class type. So even same one, even the same, you can check, you can check in the collections, Java part as well. So you can check your, go to JRE under the rt.jar. Okay, under rt.jar, you can search, what is that? java.io.lan package. So under this, you can check, there are different classes. Okay, so we have different classes. You people can check this. Okay, under rt.jar, we have so many things, so many packages. Under this, you can, spend some time here and please search, search on that. Okay, so we have LAN package and, we have IO also. And yeah, so LAN with annotation. So you guys can check here. So you will get, suppose if you didn't get here about, these classes or, the existing classes, you can go to Java documentation. Especially I'm talking about, Java. So you can check there, Java document. Okay, so if anything, if any, things, suppose arrays or strings, if those are classes, assume that if those are in classes, definitely logically, we can have, we can create objects for those classes. How, in the sense, as I told you, so you can check Java document, because arrays are predefined classes in, in object-oriented programming language. Okay. So though it is a similar type, I mean, though it says similar type of values, so it is predefined, it is a predefined class. So logically, it is considered as an object. So yes, JRE, under JRE, you can check rt.jar. And in this, you people can check about, classes, predefined classes. Okay, so this is for the Java I'm talking. If it is for JavaScript, even I have to search because I'm familiar with, Java. So I was well aware about, this, where this class is exactly present. Right. So let's move to, JavaScript, HTML. Fine. Actually, you can spend some time and you can search here with the Java resources. You will find everything, whatever the classes or object we are discussing. Okay, so now let's move to our, concept. So hope it is clear now. See, it doesn't matter what type of values it's, what type of data it stores. Okay, only it matters whether it stores the data or not. Okay, so now it's about arrays, right? So let me take script is taken. So now var also I guess taken, right? So var ExcelR student, ExcelR student ID. Okay, so ID equals to I'm giving names. Sorry, here ID numbers. Okay, 1 0 2 3 and so on. So I'm just, I just assigned the 5 values. So if we consider, assume that, at present, so what is the strength here? Let me check once. So 12 members are watching this, video, right? So I can take up, I can take 12 IDs, okay? 12 student IDs. But for now, I've taken, 5 numbers, 5 IDs, okay? So now let's go here. So basically for iterating values, I'm taking for loop, okay? So for loop, right? So for let me take, for, so this is iterate over the array. So fine. So I'm taking, here I have taken I equals to 0 and I less than, array dot length. So here array should be this ExcelR student ID. Okay. ExcelR student ID. Fine. So now and now I'm going to print. Okay, so how I'll print document dot write and this is for, okay, I should take so much here. So I'm taking here with, student ID of I plus, okay, so here we can have a break. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll take it. let me finish it off with the basic things, then we'll go ahead. Okay, right. And now we, I'm closing the script. Okay, so let me run whether I know it prints or not. Why it's printing that one as well? Okay, so it's actually printing. So yes, now we are getting, let's check. Right. So whatever the, value which we have assigned, so we are getting value from, by iterating for loop. Okay. So let me show you one more, example. So let's take this. Okay. This is for literal is done. Now it's for the constant. I mean, creating it object directly. Okay. Right. So let's take, array object. Let me change the name. Let's get into the body. So here, we have to declare array variable. So that is, by using var keyword. First of all, let me take, script. Okay. Script here inside the script. Okay, let me take user input. So for user input, we have to create a form tag. Okay. Fine. So let's get to head. Array object creation. Okay. So here we can have a style tag for body. This is inline. So style equals to, we can have any text, text align. Basically it's for center. We can use any value, but I'm using it for center. Okay. And now inside body tag, let's take h2. Again for h2 also we can have a style tag. Color, let's go with the blue. Any color you can take up, either green or navy blue, anything. Okay, so now let's with the h2. So here I'm displaying it as an it's okay. ExcelR. Okay, and now here is about I'm taking again h3. I'm defining one ID as well. So ID as an A I'm taking. Here I'm writing it as an input array elements. Okay. Anyhow, we have close to one. Right. Now let's go to form tag. Form action is for now we don't have any such file, but still let me take it as an for now HTML. Okay, so here I'm going to take method equals to post. And also we can have a class as well, but for class I'm not passing any value. Let it be empty. Okay. Now let's have input field tags. Input, Okay. So now okay, so this is for input. So type as a text I'm taken. So and then name equals to I'm giving name, common name for all the way attributes. So how many values I have to input? Okay. So here array and value is I'm just giving same value as t. Okay. And then let's go to break. The attack. So here, Control C. Okay, so I'm taking now 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Okay, so how many values? 6 and 7. That's fine. Let's take 6. Okay. So now the last one, button type. Okay, so here I'm taking, another input tag. So another input type as button. And yes, so name I have to change here again. Okay, and here not value. So let's go here, click on click. Okay, on click equals to, let's take array value with, instead of this, I'm taking it as an input array, in array. Okay, so this is my function name. Okay, so now if you want to write anything here, write submit or save. Anything is fine. I should close this button. Why this? So it should be button. Okay, fine. So now form tag is, we have to close this form tag. Fine. So after, closing this form, now let's take one paragraph. If needed, ID. So somewhere ID I have declared as well. So ID equals to, this is for the function. So I'm giving it as an F. Okay. So now we have to define, script. Okay. So script, let's go here. And here function name before function. Let's take on variable b equals to, so let's take values are, and let me end with semicolon as well. So now I'm going to define the function. Sorry. So function name is in array. Okay, so in array it is, let's get into this. And now again, where, So var get data or input, anything is fine. So get data as document dot get element by name. Okay, so which name is that? So the name is the one which we have given for input tag. Okay, so yes, here with the parenthesis within single array, single quote, that is array of this brace. Okay, actually it's not only with only single array also we can pass, that's not an issue, it's just a name. Okay, so now let's take for loop. For okay, so what is here? This is I equals to 0 is fine. I less than, this should it should be get data, not array. Get data dot length, and yes, I plus plus. And now let's take var b1, or let's take x equals to get data get data of I. Okay, get data, this one, this variable. Why it happens? Control Z. Okay, so now inside this again, let's take the variable v. So I'm taking variable here v. Okay, so v equals to v plus, I'm gonna display values, plus array of so here I'm trying to print value of I. Okay, this one, actually it is index I. Okay, so now plus close the brace dot value equals to within double quotes, so plus we have to call which one here, 1 second, x. So here we have x variable, right? So I'm taking I'm calling that x variable x dot value plus okay. So now close for loop, and then let's go here, document dot get element by ID. Okay, so element ID by the one first ID, not first ID, the one which we have defined here, F. Okay, within braces it's F. So F dot inner HTML dot, sorry, not dot, inner HTML. Inner HTML equals to V. This one, these values. And end with a semicolon. And now again, so document dot get element by ID, and here with ID. So let's take one more we have, right? One more p tag, paragraph tag. It's not P. This is for the 3. So it's A. So here I am passing a 3 tag. Okay, so again, you can write something here, something. Close the script and use HTML. Okay. I hope now it's audible. Please confirm. Yes, I will explain, but give me, a few minutes. Actually, it's not, redirecting to this function to display values. Um, where it's missed. So this is in array, and so where, let's take where get data equals to, document dot. So actually this is through form I'm taking, okay? So, or the form I'm taking. So you have one more option. Let's see that later. But for now, let me try to solve it out. Mm. So I have taken the same array. Okay, array is fine. This is clear. And now for I equals to, 0 less than get data dot length. Correct. And yes, so where x equals to input of, this get of I. So we are initializing to this variable with its index. So now b equals to, so b equals to b plus, let me try for passing the same object, HTML page. So not responding. Then where it goes wrong. So we have a button. When we click on button, it has to redirect to this in array. Is this function is right, first of all? This is, we're just trying to take values from, of course, from the user, but not, from the console. It's with the form tag. let's check from the beginning once. So form action equals to, so actually it's forwarding to another page. So I'm taking that, same page, HTML page, and method as a post. Okay. And class is just, I've not defined any class object. So it's just empty. And now form. Okay, so input type as text and name as an array. So this is a common array, common name for all the input type text box. Value is also, empty because we're not initializing here itself. We are just trying to take, get it from the user. Okay. Right. So at the end, so we have a button. And in the button, of course, type is a button, name is also button, and on click is, a method name. Okay, so it's a method name where we have, actual logic to get value from the user. Okay, so now the form is closed. Now form is closed, and yes, so here, if needed, we can take up, break as well for confirmation. Okay, so now paragraph tag ID is, I defined it as an if. So, and then script type. So variable again, here I'm taking one more variable, b equals to values are. Okay, so values are, later I'm going to use the same, variable again. And now function in array. So values are, and function name is in array. And now it's a it's a variable. It's just a variable. Okay, get data, or it's just a variable name. Okay, so and now document dot get element by name. It's not ID, it's elements. So it's, my mistake. It's elements because this is a group of arrays, array values, no elements. Okay, so look at this, how, how mistakes goes. Fine, so now it's a for variable I equals to 0 and I less than get data dot length. So, and we are finding a variable. It's not finding, so we are initializing x, right? And again, so b equals to, where again we are getting this variable where it is. Okay, so v is equal to values are, along with this, those values will be displayed. Index along with the values. Okay, so finally we are getting this, one is a paragraph and the other one is the header part. Okay, so I have tried, it was typed it as an element, but yes, it's elements. Get elements by name. So let me try. Oh, good. So it's just an index values. It's, it's taking. Okay, let me try, values. Let me pass some values. Values are, again, while printing, it's mistaken. Value is 12. 12. It's printing, but now I have to correct it this with this one. Fine. So this is how we get, values from the user. So this is a one way. This is, by using form tag. Hope it is clear, guys. I have to do some changes here. Changes in the sense, here, look at this. Where is that submit button? If I submit, not this page, I guess I've closed it, right? Let me remove this one, I'll comment this line. Okay, and now let me come out of this. So now I'll remove this one. Let's see the difference just for output, printing values. Okay, it is missed somewhere again. Values are missing. So what needs to be changed? It's not printing values. So which means I have to take this, actually I have commented the I values. I variable, that's the reason it is not working. So let me, so values are, I'm removing this, okay. I did nothing. Multiple times printing. So let me comment this one, and the final this one, let me take up. Actually I wanted to remove single I have to get single output in single line. Let me check. Values are fine. Okay, fine. Still, I'm getting B where somewhere it's accepting. That's fine. So, this is a one way to get values from the users. And also we do have one more option, so that is to get value from the, from console. Right, so we can create it, but I have given in the same form. Okay, yes, we can create one more form where where we can redirect to that form and we can print it there. Okay, any questions so far? Fine, so we'll take one more session for our, for JavaScript, and we will finish it off with one more concept, that's strings, and yes, so getting value from the user. Any questions? Hope logic of this a web page, it's clear. So I've taken form field as well as script, the function which needs to be taken, which needs to take value from the user in same page. Actually we can create one more page where we can write form function separately and we can print out. Okay, fine then. Time is up. So we'll have one more session for JavaScript. Okay, and then we'll move to our actual concept, that is a servlet part. So I thought of finish it off, with a string, but fine. Okay, so if no questions, someone asked a question here, right? Game source code. We'll see if we get enough time. We'll work on that as well. Okay, guys. Explain the code. It is done. Okay. Hope the logic which is written here, it is clear for everybody, right? Fine then. We'll close the session. We'll meet you in the next session. Okay, so that in that session it will be with a string based. Okay, JavaScripts with a strings. Fine. So thank you all.